It was a regular day at Greenhaven Grocery, a modest store tucked into the corner of a bustling neighborhood. Customers moved through the aisles, filling their carts with everyday essentials, the soft hum of conversation blending with the rhythmic beeping of the checkout counters. Among them was Sarah, a single mother juggling a tight budget and a full grocery list, her face etched with worry as she calculated each item against the money in her wallet. Unbeknownst to her and everyone else in the store, something extraordinary was about to unfold. Outside, a sleek electric car pulled into the parking lot. Stepping out was none other than Elon Musk, the tech billionaire known for his groundbreaking innovations and unorthodox actions. Dressed casually, he walked into the store without fanfare, his presence unnoticed by most. But Elon wasn't there to shop. He had come with a purpose, one that would send ripples far beyond the aisles of this humble grocery store. As Sarah stood at the checkout, nervously putting back items she couldn't afford, she glanced up and froze. Elon Musk, of all people, was at the front of the store, addressing the staff and drawing a growing crowd of curious onlookers. What he announced next left everyone in stunned silence. "I'm buying out the entire store for charity." The room erupted into a flurry of whispers and gasps. What was happening? Why here? And most importantly, what did he plan to do next? Little did anyone know, this seemingly random act of generosity would soon become a global sensation, transforming the lives of those present and sparking a wave of positivity that no one could have predicted. Greenhaven Grocery had always been more than just a store for the neighborhood. It was a community hub. Run by Mr. Patel, a kind-hearted man in his 60s, the store was a place where people shared stories, exchanged recipes, and occasionally found support in tough times. For Sarah, a single mother of 2 young children, Greenhaven was both a lifeline and a source of quiet dread. Every trip was a careful dance of selecting necessities while keeping within her tight budget. Sarah's life had taken a sharp turn a year earlier when her husband unexpectedly passed away. Left to raise 8-year-old Ben and 4-year-old Lily on her own, she juggled 2 part-time jobs while trying to make sure her children never felt the weight of their struggles. Ben often helped her clip coupons from newspapers, a task he turned into a game, while Lily drew colorful pictures that Sarah pinned to their modest kitchen wall for encouragement. Despite her efforts, Sarah frequently found herself standing at the grocery checkout, forced to put back items like fresh fruit or her kids' favorite snacks. The grocery store was a microcosm of the neighborhood, a mix of regulars like Sarah, elderly retirees picking up their weekly essentials, and young professionals grabbing last-minute dinners. Behind the counter stood familiar faces. Maria, a college student who worked evenings to help pay for her tuition, Jamal, the jovial stock clerk who always had a joke ready, and Mr. Patel himself, who often slipped a candy bar into a customer's bag with a knowing wink. It was in this ordinary setting that Elon Musk, one of the world's most recognizable figures, decided to make an unexpected appearance. Known for his unpredictable nature, Elon had recently been exploring ways to give back directly to communities. Frustrated with the bureaucracy of traditional charitable channels, he wanted to make an impact where it mattered most. His team had identified Greenhaven Grocery as part of a pilot project, selecting it for its reputation as a neighborhood cornerstone and the diversity of its patrons. Elon's arrival at the store that day was unassuming. Dressed in a plain black hoodie and jeans, he parked his Tesla near the entrance and walked in without an entourage. The only indication of his presence was a brief pause at the door as he glanced around, taking in the unremarkable yet bustling scene before him. Inside, Sarah was navigating the aisles, her brows furrowed in concentration as she compared the prices of different cereal brands. Nearby, Maria greeted customers with her usual cheerful demeanor, while Jamal stacked boxes of pasta on a high shelf. The atmosphere was calm and predictable, the way it always was, until Elon approached the customer service desk. "Hi, I'm looking for the store manager," he said, his voice casual but carrying a weight of authority that turned heads. Mr. Patel, who had been organizing receipts at the back, came forward, his expression curious. Elon introduced himself with a small smile and shook Mr. Patel's hand firmly. The staff began to notice who was standing at their store. Maria froze mid-scan at her register, her eyes widening as she whispered, "Is that Elon Musk?" to a stunned customer. Jamal dropped the box he was holding, the clattering noise drawing attention. Whispers spread like wildfire, and within minutes everyone in the store knew something unusual was happening. Elon, meanwhile, spoke quietly to Mr. Patel, outlining his plan. He wanted to buy out the entire inventory of the store, not for profit or personal gain, but to redistribute the items to local food banks, shelters, and families in need. "I want to do something meaningful," he explained, his tone sincere, and this seemed like the right place to start. Mr. Patel, initially stunned, quickly regained his composure. "That's a generous idea," he said, his voice tinged with awe. "But why here? Why us?" Elon shrugged lightly. "Why not?" he replied simply. "This is a community store. Helping here means helping a lot of people." As the conversation unfolded, Sarah reached the checkout counter, unaware of the commotion. She placed her items on the conveyor belt, her stomach tightening as she eyed the total on the register. Quietly, she slid a carton of orange juice and a bag of apples to the side, deciding they weren't essential. It was a ritual she had grown accustomed to, though it never hurt any less. And then, just as Sarah reached for her wallet, the announcement came. Mr. Patel stepped to the center of the store, his voice trembling with excitement as he addressed the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, I have an extraordinary announcement," he began. "Today, thanks to an incredible act of generosity, this store's entire inventory is being purchased. For charity." The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to Elon Musk. He stepped forward, his casual demeanor in stark contrast to the magnitude of his words. "Everyone here today," he said, "will have their groceries covered. Let's make this a day to remember." The ripple effect of his words was immediate. Gasps, cheers, and whispers of disbelief filled the air. For Sarah, standing at the checkout counter, it felt as though the weight of the world had momentarily lifted. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of a story that would soon capture the hearts of millions. Sarah stood frozen at the checkout counter, her hand hovering over her wallet as the cashier hesitated with her remaining items. She was about to say, "It's okay, I'll put those back," when the sound of a microphone crackling filled the air. She turned toward the source, her heart skipping a beat as she noticed everyone's attention fixed on Mr. Patel, the store manager. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice carrying a mix of excitement and disbelief, "I have an extraordinary announcement to make." He paused, scanning the room, his eyes shimmering with emotion. "Thanks to the generosity of a very special guest, every single item in this store is being purchased today for charity. And that's not all. If you're here right now, your groceries are covered." The room erupted in gasps and murmurs. Sarah's mind reeled. Did she hear that correctly? Was this some kind of prank? She looked toward the front of the store, where a tall man stepped forward. Her breath caught. She recognized him immediately, Elon Musk. Elon raised a hand, his calm voice cutting through the growing chatter. "I'm buying out the store's inventory today," he said simply. "Your groceries today are on me." For a moment, there was complete silence. Then the room exploded into cheers, applause, and tears. Customers embraced one another, some recording the moment on their phones, while others simply stood in stunned disbelief. Sarah, still at the counter, felt her vision blur as tears filled her eyes. For the first time in months, she felt a weight lifting, a moment of reprieve from the relentless challenges of her daily life. That single announcement didn't just change Sarah's day. It changed her outlook, sparking a ripple of hope that would soon go far beyond the walls of Greenhaven Grocery. The atmosphere inside Greenhaven Grocery shifted dramatically. The once quiet aisles now buzzed with energy as customers processed the shocking announcement. Phones were out, capturing videos of Elon Musk standing near the checkout counter, his casual demeanor contrasting with the incredible generosity he'd just unveiled. People whispered in awe, their disbelief quickly giving way to joy. For Sarah, the moment felt surreal. She stood at the register, her groceries still half scanned, her mind racing to understand the magnitude of what was happening. The cashier, Maria, looked up at her with wide eyes. "Did he just say, 'Your groceries are free'?" Sarah managed a nod, though her voice failed her. A wave of relief and gratitude washed over her, followed by the realization that this day could be transformative, not just for her, but for everyone around her. But the euphoria of the moment was soon met with logistical challenges. Mr. Patel, trying to organize the unfolding chaos, called the staff together. "We need to make this smooth," he said firmly, though his excitement was evident. "Everyone's groceries are covered, but we still have to keep track of the inventory for the donation process. Let's focus on getting people through quickly." Behind the scenes, Maria and Jamal worked tirelessly, coordinating the influx of excited shoppers. Some customers, overcome with emotion, began piling their carts with more than just their immediate needs. A few filled their baskets with supplies they hadn't been able to afford in months, while others hesitated, unsure how much was too much. Sarah noticed an elderly woman near the canned goods aisle, looking conflicted as she held a can of soup in one hand and a loaf of bread in the other. Stepping away from the checkout, Sarah approached her. "You should take both," she said softly, her voice steady despite her own swirling emotions. The woman smiled, her eyes misting. "It feels too good to be true," she whispered. Sarah nodded in agreement, feeling the same way. But for the first time in months, it wasn't fear or uncertainty that brought tears to her eyes. It was hope. Meanwhile, Elon walked through the store, quietly engaging with customers. He stopped to chat with a young father who'd loaded his cart with diapers and formula, explaining that his wife had just given birth and money was tight. Elon nodded, offering a few words of encouragement before turning to help an overwhelmed staff member navigate the growing line at the checkout. As the line grew, so did the challenges. Some customers expressed frustration over the wait, while others seemed unsure of how to respond to such an unusual situation. Mr. Patel worked to calm the crowd, his voice rising above the commotion. "Please, everyone, be patient. We'll make sure no one is left behind." In the midst of it all, a local news crew arrived, having caught wind of the event through social media. Cameras rolled as they interviewed customers, staff, and even Elon himself. "This isn't about me," he said when asked why he chose this particular store. "It's about showing what can happen when we come together to support our communities." The media presence added another layer of intensity to the scene. Some customers, uncomfortable with the attention, tried to finish quickly and leave, while others eagerly shared their stories. Sarah, initially shy about being on camera, found herself approached by a reporter. "What does this mean for you?" they asked, microphone extended. Sarah hesitated, then spoke from the heart. "It means the world," she said, her voice trembling. "As a single mom, every dollar counts. Knowing I can provide for my kids without worrying about the cost, it's a blessing I can't put into words." As the hours passed, the crowd began to thin. Customers left, with bags full of groceries and smiles on their faces, many stopping to thank Elon personally. Sarah lingered, watching as Elon spoke with Mr. Patel and the staff, ensuring everything was handled smoothly. She noticed how he listened intently, treating everyone, regardless of their role, with respect and care. Before leaving, Elon made one final announcement. "This isn't just about today," he said, addressing the remaining crowd. "It's about inspiring more acts of kindness. I hope this encourages others to find ways to give back, no matter how big or small." His words resonated deeply with Sarah. She left the store that day with more than just groceries. She left with a renewed sense of possibility. Her struggles weren't over, but for the first time in a long while, she felt like the weight she carried was a little lighter. And as she walked home with her children, their arms full of bags, she couldn't help but smile, knowing that this day would forever be a part of their story. As the day progressed, the energy inside Greenhaven Grocery reached a fever pitch. Word of Elon Musk's unprecedented generosity had spread beyond the neighborhood, drawing more people to the store. What began as an act of kindness now faced logistical chaos as staff struggled to manage the surging crowd, the growing media presence, and the overwhelming emotions of the moment. For Sarah, the initial joy of having her groceries covered was quickly overshadowed by the mounting tension in the room. She noticed tempers flaring as some customers began to argue over remaining items on the shelves. A young mother clutched a pack of diapers tightly, while another shopper, visibly frustrated, reached for the same package. The clash escalated quickly, their voices rising above the hum of the crowd. Nearby, Sarah saw an elderly man in a wheelchair struggling to navigate the packed aisles, his cart out of reach as people moved past him, too absorbed in their own excitement to notice. the chaos threatened to overshadow the very purpose of Elon's act: unity and generosity. Elon, who had been speaking with Mr. Patel, noticed the growing tension. He stepped forward, raising his hands in a calming gesture. "Everyone, please," he said, his voice cutting through the noise with an unexpected authority. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to him. "I understand this is overwhelming, but let's remember why we're here: to help one another, not to fight." His words carried a weight that immediately shifted the atmosphere. He gestured toward the young mother and the frustrated shopper. "There's enough to go around. If we work together, we can make sure everyone gets what they need." Then, turning to the elderly man, Elon walked over and knelt beside him. "What do you need?" he asked, his tone gentle but resolute. The man looked up, surprised, and pointed toward his cart. Elon personally helped him navigate the aisle, ensuring he got everything he needed. The gesture drew applause from onlookers, who seemed to realize the importance of empathy in that moment. Sarah watched, deeply moved, as the tension in the room began to dissipate. Customers started helping one another, passing items down aisles, sharing what they had, and even stepping aside for those in greater need. The energy shifted from chaotic to collaborative, a testament to the power of leadership and kindness. In the midst of it all, a reporter approached Elon, asking why he had intervened personally. "Because it's not about the money," Elon replied simply. "It's about reminding people of what we can achieve when we come together." For Sarah, this moment was transformative. She stepped forward, offering to help the overwhelmed staff organize the checkout lines. Others followed suit, turning what had been a chaotic scene into a well-coordinated effort. By the time the store began to wind down, every customer had received what they needed, and the mood had shifted from tension to triumph. The day's events had reached their peak, showcasing not just Elon's generosity, but the resilience and compassion of a community united by a single act of kindness. As the crowd at Greenhaven Grocery began to thin, the once overwhelmed aisles turned quiet again. Shoppers who had initially been caught in the chaos now left with full carts and lighter hearts. Many stopped to thank Elon Musk personally, their gratitude evident in tearful smiles and heartfelt words. Sarah lingered near the checkout, helping Maria and Jamal organize the last few transactions. Her earlier nervousness had been replaced by a sense of purpose. She guided an elderly woman to the counter and handed a young father a spare bag for his groceries. For the first time in a long while, she felt not like a bystander to her own struggles, but an active participant in a moment of shared humanity. Meanwhile, Elon stayed to ensure everything ran smoothly. He spoke with Mr. Patel and the staff, praising their hard work and offering to cover additional expenses for any logistical challenges that arose. His genuine care for the situation wasn't lost on anyone present. He wasn't just a billionaire making a statement. He was a person who had shown up and made an impact. As the last customer exited the store, Mr. Patel closed the register with a satisfied sigh. He turned to Sarah and the others. "We did it," he said with a smile. "This was a day none of us will forget." Sarah nodded, her heart full. As she packed up her groceries to head home, she glanced back at Elon, who gave her an encouraging nod. The weight of her daily struggles felt a little lighter now, replaced by a newfound hope and determination. Outside, the evening air was crisp, carrying with it the echoes of a day filled with kindness, community, and the reminder that even in the most unexpected places, humanity could shine its brightest. In the days that followed, the story of Elon Musk's act of kindness at Greenhaven Grocery went viral. Videos and photos of the event spread across social media, sparking conversations about the power of generosity and the importance of supporting local communities. For Sarah, the impact was deeply personal. The groceries she brought home that night lasted weeks, giving her the financial breathing room to catch up on other bills and even save a little. This story teaches us that generosity isn't just about wealth. It's about intention. Whether it's buying someone a cup of coffee, volunteering your time, or offering a word of encouragement, small acts of kindness can create ripples that grow into waves of positive change. Sarah's journey from struggle to hope reflects what many of us face in our own lives. It's a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there's potential for light, whether it's from the kindness of a stranger or the strength we find within ourselves. Have you ever experienced or witnessed an act of kindness that changed your perspective? Share your story in the comments below. Let's celebrate those moments and inspire others to make a difference. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a reminder of the power of giving. Together, let's create a community that values compassion and generosity. Because as this story shows, even the smallest actions can make the biggest difference.